What's up, curious youngsters? If we keep wasting time on pointless activities or watching endless videos, we just get strange YouTube recommendations. Why not take a moment to teach curiosity or learning instead? 30 totally epic facts that you'll forget in about 10 minutes, but these aren't just any facts. These will leave you completely amazed. For this and much more, these are 30 things you didn't know 5 minutes ago. 1. Even though McDonald's is the largest fast food chain in history, nowadays most of its income doesn't come from selling hamburgers and fries. Instead, much of its billions come from a smart franchise system. It buys property to open a McDonald's, then rents it to anyone who wants to run the location for years. 2. For this, we'll get a bit more conspiratorial. Since the well-known pyramids of Giza in Egypt share a distribution pattern that is very, very similar to that of the pyramids of Teotihuacan. In Mexico, this matches the pattern of Orion's belt stars. And if this wasn't crazy enough, we have to know that these two civilizations lived thousands of kilometers and thousands of years apart. I think it was the aliens. 3. Art can be found in many ways. While some artists focus solely on painting, others express themselves more openly and publicly. They create sculptures and monuments worldwide. This giant chair, called the Broken Chair, is in Geneva, Switzerland, and symbolizes opposition to landmines. 4. Nature is simply incredible, and even when it makes mistakes, it leaves us speechless. For example, Tira, a baby zebra born in Kenya's Mara Nature Reserve, had brown fur and spots instead of stripes. This genetic mutation made her unique. 5. Geographical features are one of the most interesting phenomena our beloved planet has, and in this case, we find a lake in Denmark known as Sorbasba, which, although it seems impossible at first glance, is located above the Atlantic Ocean. 6. One of the most interesting sections of 30 Things is strange phobias. One of the most interesting sections of 30 Things is strange phobias. And today we come across pogonophobia, which is the irrational fear of beards. This phobia, discovered in 1851, is thought to cause nausea in people who see someone with facial hair. You better shave, Johnny. 7. If we're talking about rare species, we have to talk about the scaly lizard. This curious reptile that lives in Canada has the incredible ability to defend itself from its predators. Its eyes can shoot jets of blood, not water, poison, or urine, but actual blood. 8. Hazers are among the most fascinating formations found on Earth's surface. Not all are natural. For example, hazer fly was accidentally created during a well drilling in 1917. Since then, it has continuously released water, steam, and gases to the surface. 9. If you like bees and have free time, could you imitate Xi Ping, the Chinese beekeeper who made the Guinness World Records in 2014? After roughly 460,000 bees settled on his body, all capable of stinging him. They reached about 45 kilos, which the beekeeper had to support. 10. After Pope Gregory IX linked cats to the devil in 1,200 mass exterminations of cats began across Europe. And the big problem arose a few months later when the rats, having lost their main predator, began to spread the well-known bubonic plague, killing over 100 million people. But how horrible. 11. Polar bears are curious animals, which is one of many interesting facts about them, is that they have 3 pairs of eyelids to protect their eyes. An outer layer shields them from the sun's ultraviolet rays reflected by the snow. Another intermediate eyelid that protects them from the cold and snow, and a final eyelid that allows them to see underwater without any problems. 12. One of the most widely used hats throughout history was the so-called bowler hat, also known as the derby hat. Did you know these were designed for people who rode horses, even if used in different situations? Their shape let riders protect their heads from impacts. 13. Sharks have existed on Earth for millions of years, and some managed to evolve so much that they can live on top of an underwater volcano. In 2015, scientists found sharks near the Solomon Islands living in highly acidic hot waters from a volcano, conditions impossible for most animals or humans. 14. Many indigenous communities still rely on nature as their hospital today. In this case, we see soldier ants with jaws strong enough to serve as natural sutures. Because once they bite, the rest of their body is removed and their heads stay clamped onto the skin like metal hooks. Yes, bring in the stunned owl. Let's go Quince. Though we have many sneaker brands today, 5,500 years ago, people had fewer choices. Yet they still wore shoes as interesting as this one. Found in an Armenian cave, this cowhide leather shoe is considered the world's oldest. 16. Antarctica is one of the most unknown and mysterious territories on planet Earth. Within the entire White Mantle, we find the Blood Falls. Yes, but don't worry, nobody stabbed the lady. This phenomenon occurs when iron oxide flows from inside Taylor Glacier in eastern Antarctica. Thomas Edison, an American inventor and businessman, created over 1,000 inventions and held 1,903 patents, to be exact, and up to now it's a record that no one has ever managed to surpass. This great inventor reportedly created a new product every 15 days, which is incredible. His most successful invention was the electric light bulb, reportedly inspired by his fear of the dark. 18. Japan is an interesting country to visit. If you like video games, you'll find it more interesting. There's a store called Maricar. This lets you ride a go-kart dressed as a Mario Kart character. And, depending on your budget and the city you're in, you'll be able to do different routes. 19. While it may sound unbelievable, some Chinese provinces actually use geese as police support animals. Out of all birds, geese are known for being extremely vigilant and having excellent hearing. Let's see if you knew that, my friend. 20. We all know Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, but what very few people know is the story that led him to fame. He began working in kennels until Shada Pinkett, Will Smith's wife, once offered him a job washing her cars. That's when he noticed Will Smith had 5 Rottweilers. He trained them, and soon the Smith family began recommending him to celebrities. If you're adventurous, consider visiting Sri Lanka and don't miss the Ambulawawa Tower. It sits among mountains and features a monastery, Hindu temple, church, and mosque. On Incredible News, we meet Pablo Escobar. Yes, I didn't say Pablo Escobar, I said Pablo Escobar. Bear means bear in English. This bear became known after being found dead in a forest from an overdose. Yes, just like you heard, a few days ago the military chased a trafficker in a small plane. He couldn't come up with anything better than dropping toxic packages. Our poor bear got them, and the rest is history. That wasn't honey. Winnie 23. If you have a list of places you want to visit in this life, you can go ahead and add this one. In Japan, Tomamu Resort features a cataract observation deck offering amazing views of a sea of clouds. 24. Even though polar bears may seem like extremely wild animals. In 1977, Nikolai Machuliak cared for a polar bear cub after its mother was killed. He visited her for 11 months, bringing seal meat and condensed milk. Amazingly, the bear kept returning to the meeting place with her new cubs, letting them play with Russian explorer Nikolai Machuliak. We can see the moon shining in the sky almost every night. But did you know that although there are planets like Jupiter with more than 60 satellites, Mercury and Venus are the only planets in the solar system without any satellites around them? 26. Meanwhile, environmental problems are getting worse and worse. We remain hopeful, seeing that in cities like Rome and Italy you can buy public transit tickets with plastic bottles. Yeah, that's right, just like you heard. With the Missy Zero app, users deposit bottles in ticket machines and get tickets for the amount of plastic recycled. Well thought out, gentlemen, Romanos. 27. The familiar orange fruits don't always used to be orange. Originally from Asia, they were just green fruits until crossbreeding with grapefruit trees gave them their current color. 28. We continue with real stories, including that of 56-year-old nurse Vilma Wong, who 30 years ago had been in charge of caring for a premature baby named Brandon Cemetery. 30 years ago, she had been in charge of caring for a premature baby named Brandon Cemetery. He grew up and became a pediatrician who went to work at the very same hospital where this woman was still working. They both recognized the coincidence and shared the story. 29. Snakes are scary enough on Earth, but imagine if they could fly. While they can't actually fly, some can glide. Snakes of the Chrysopelea species climb trees, and then by changing the shape of their bodies, glide smoothly from one tree to another. But isn't that scary? 30. Although we all know the classic red or green apples, I'm sure few people have heard about the pink pearl apple, that is, pink pearl. This rare California apple variety has pink flesh and is much sweeter than usual, according to consumers. Before I go, I'll greet a few subscribers. First of all, a big shout out to Dortrex3000, whom I owed a greeting. Shout out to GRAGTA for subscribing, thanks to Fred Rijo. I'll greet Tito Josue, Rangel Mendez, Juan Jose Garcia, and all of Colombia. Afterward, I'll send a big greeting to the Nurse XD. Shout out to Durley Saranda, who's waited a while, and greetings to Warbro, which I owed their greeting. I'll greet Antonio Adolfo Chapeta. Don't miss any videos. Another greeting for the spiderweb that was waiting for their greeting. And finally, I send a greeting to Sebastian and Clara Takine. Another greeting for Luis Herrera and Figueroa Herrera, +1 for the little rapper Alteño. Will the final greeting be for star Santiago Salcedo? Now, leave your comment, anything you want, probably anything you want. Don't forget to share the channel and the video with your friends. So now, more kisses on Mr. Curiosity. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss any new videos. Did you heal it for him?